Well, hello. Welcome back to Martial Monday with Johnny Tiger. The date is January 10, 2022. Kitten is unfortunately not here with me right now. She is back in California, and basically the last 2 days been a lot of spending time together, and that's why the Soul Search Sunday and Survival Saturday were missing because we're spending a lot of time together. Um, so I'm going to make it up to you guys to give me a little bit of time today. We'll catch up on this Martial Monday. Will essentially be your Survival Saturday, and later we'll do a catch-up video for Soul Search Sunday. Tomorrow I will do the Missing Music Monday, and we'll be all caught up. My plan, as of right now, is that in a couple of weeks, hopefully a week or 2 weeks, I will start working on the Johnny Tiger Experience podcast again. We'll jumpstart that baby and get it back on track. Uh, I don't know. I don't know if any of you have this experience before. When you live with someone you work really well with or you love really much for a period of time, like half a year, and then that person departs and leave, and you're living on your own again, it's a little bit of a shock to the system. And so uh, I anticipate for the next week or so, there'll be a lot of readjusting and getting my psyche back on track and getting my getting a stride going. So yeah, forgive me if things will might be a little bit flaky or uh, wonky in the next week or so. Hopefully you guys won't even notice it, but I'm just saying. So since it's Martial Monday, we are going to start something by doing something a little bit unconventional. We are going to start by doing some movement. Think of this as warm up, and you can feel free to do with me. We're going to do some jumping jack, and one, and two, and one, and two, and one. And now we're going to do some jogging on the spot. Some of you may be wondering, why am I doing this? This is silly. It's not Fitness Friday. But after a while, it will all make sense. Okay? So after we jog, we'll do high knee. High knee. Bring your knee up, up, up. Turn around. We're going to jog. Bring our heel onto our butt. And we're going to do some squats. And squats. And squats. And we're going to ramp it up with some squat jump. Squat and 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 jump. We're going to do some punching. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 5, 6. Okay? Now, okay. Now we get to the main focus of today's topic. But first, let me take off my jacket. It's a very dramatic thing to do, to carry a fighting knife on your chest like this. You see it in military movies, you see soldiers do it, and it is kind of a serious look. When you carry on your chest, the primary thing is it's easy access. But remember that if you carry your knife across your chest like this, make sure it's very secure, and make sure that when you go sheath this knife, you pay attention. Don't stab yourself in the neck or the chest. Okay? A lot of people have asked me before, but isn't that dangerous? Carrying it, isn't that going to get you in trouble with the law? Or can people grab it when they get too close to you? Well, if you carry this across your chest and walk out on the street right now, as long as it's not under a jacket, it's actually okay because it's not a concealed weapon. So as long as if the police ask why you're carrying this, as long as you have a very good reason, like you just cosplaying a ninja or something like that, or it's your ceremonial rite, something like that, as long as you don't say it's for self-defense, it's actually okay. Okay? Because everyone can see you're carrying one. Now, if you hide it under a jacket, then you might be in trouble with the law. Now, I want to say this again before we go any further. I say this every time we deal with knives and blades and stuff like that. Every state, every province, every country got different laws surrounding something like this. Like if you are in China or Taiwan, doesn't matter how you carry it, doesn't matter how big or small, it's illegal. Okay, so it depends on where you are. So make sure you look up on your carrying law in your region before you go and strapping things on yourself. Do I always walk around carrying knife like this? No, but I have done it before. Um, Back in the early 2000s, when I used to have to work late, and when I was on my way home, it's usually around midnight, and I have to take public transit. I have to go through some seedy area, and there was a lot of robberies and people picking fights and stuff like that. So back then, I would usually carry a knife even bigger than this. I would carry my K-bar U.S. Marine Combat knife across my chest and leave my jacket just open enough so anyone who walked by could see it. That was a very good deterrent. A couple of years ago, on the way to when I walked to work, there was this rather obnoxious guy who was always walking his dog when I was on my way to work. And whenever I crossed paths with him, his dog would bark madly at me and then would string on its leash and try to get at me. And the guy would kind of badmouth me and be kind of rude and say I'm taking up too much room on the sidewalk and stuff like that. So it got to the point where one time, and it only took once, one time when I was walking on my way to work, and just before I get to him, because I could hear his dog yap, 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 barking and yapping away, so I knew he was nearby. I casually opened my coat and kept walking. I had this very knife strapped on my chest. I didn't say anything to him. I didn't threaten him. I just opened my coat as I kept walking towards him. From that day forth, I never had any trouble from the guy ever again. Probably thought I was some kind of serial killer or something. Whatever. I don't really care. So yesterday, my friend and student James, who was so kind to drive Kitten to the airport, asked me, "So how do you carry all your knife? Where do you carry it and stuff like that? Like, where do you hide them?" That inspired me to make today's video. There's two purposes to today's video. First, I want to talk about the various options you can do. You don't always have to carry it in your pocket. You don't always have to carry it on your belt. Okay, they're different. There are a lot of different ways to carry knives. Everyone has their advantages, disadvantages, and we need to know these things before we go and start carrying our knives that way. So I want to talk about that. I want to let you know some of the options, some of the techniques, some of the things to look out for. But secondly, Perhaps the more important or the more subtle message in this video is I want people to realize just how dangerous it is to get into a conflict with someone on the street. Some of you are saying, yeah, I already know it's dangerous, but do you know how dangerous? Hopefully, by the end of this video, you'll realize that really, when we say that the best self-defense is not to get into a fight, we are not joking. When I still had my jacket on, you probably would have no clue what I was carrying. People who know me would have suspected I carry something, but they wouldn't have any idea of knowing where I have a self-defense tool or weapon. For that matter, I almost never carry my knives in the same spot. I move them around, carry them in different spots, and practice accessing them, using them, drawing them from different spots. Because it is my belief that no matter what your plan is, there's always an element of it going wrong in a combat, in a conflict, in a fight, when you get attacked. Maybe you are really good with drawing your knife from your pocket, but all it takes is someone grabbing your arm, breaking your right arm in a fight. Suddenly, you have problem getting to your self-defense tool. So it is very important to have different options. Having options is a good thing. Okay, so we're going to take a look at that. Once I take off my jacket, I'm going to stand here, and those of you who can see the screen, who can see the camera, turning around, I wonder if you can tell where I'm carrying, which part of my body. Of course, it's very obvious. Everyone can see this one across my chest, this big uh, double knife that I have here. There's a long one and a short one. Okay? Double feature across my chest. This is very, very comfortable. So since everyone can see this, we're going to get rid of that, put it aside. Now, where's the next more immediate? So some people say, you got something on your wrist. Something on your wrist. I do. Wrist carrying is one of those things that look cool, but honestly not super practical unless you're good at what you're doing. When I strap a knife to my wrist, my goal is not only be able to access it by reaching across my body with my other hand, but my bigger concern is, can I still do things with my hand? Can I still take things off, move around? In fact, when no matter what you carry on you, it's important that it's not going to fall out, stab yourself in the gut, or something like that, or bounce around too much when you are doing things. This is the whole point of us doing that whole series of movement in the beginning of the video. I want to show you guys that even with what I'm carrying today, I could do jumping jack, I can punch, I can run, and do stuff like that. I can squat down, stand up, jumping squat, stuff like that. It does not hinder me. One thing that always makes me kind of laugh a little bit is when people say things like, this knife is better than the other knife because it's 3 ounces lighter, and I don't like carrying that knife because it's too heavy. I don't want to carry more than one knife because it's extra weight. Honestly, if that little bit of 5 ounce, 6 ounce, 2 ounce extra weight, even a pound extra weight, is going to be that big of a difference for you, my suggestion is you need to head up to the gym. You need to do some exercises because it really doesn't matter. Military personnel, soldiers carrying 40, 50, 100 pounds on their back, and they're still able to fight for their country. So a couple extra pounds on you, if it means it's going to save your life, it's really not that big of a deal. Just imagine if today, before you head out the house, I tell you, hey, something really bad is going to happen to you today, and if you only carry two extra self-defense tools on you, it will save your life. If you know that for a fact, would you do it? You probably would. You probably would, even if I say, hey, something really bad is going to happen to you, but you can save your life if you carry this 25-pound dumbbell on you. You do it. So keep that mentality in mind when you think about what you're doing for self-defense. Don't go by, okay, I want to carry one thing that's really light, hardly can ever feel it, because it really doesn't make a difference once you get used to it. Okay? So, wrist knife. Be able to do things with your hand, be able to reach across and grab it with your other hand, quick extraction. By the way, a lot of people ask me what are the best extraction ways for accessing your tool. We're going to talk a little bit about each location today. So for wrist, my preferred extraction is twofold. Depending on if I have access to both of my hand or if one hand is busy. If I'm grappling with somebody, if I'm bear hugging them or if I got a headlock in and my arms are kind of occupied, but I can get my hand close to each other, like I'm reaching around, grasping them, and I immediately pull out my wrist blade, put it against the back of their spine. They will be a lot easier to deal with, right? Of course, you don't always want to just practice the easy way. So for wrist extraction, we want to turn around and learn to do this from behind. uh, Arm drawing from behind. And now, the trickiest extraction for one-handed, with a knife strapped to the wrist. I'm not going to use my right hand, but maybe my right hand is busy. Maybe I'm trying to hold someone else's knife hand off, away from me, right? Maybe something is going on that I can't get that. So in this case, I want my left hand to be able to shake and extract the knife on its own. So while my right hand is busy, the knife can come into my left hand. Now this one is hard. So when you practice, be very careful. I recommend you do it with a training knife first because you will drop it a few times. And it will suck if you drop it on your foot. Right? So that is wrist carry. Wrist carry for the most part will be illegal because it is very provocatively combative. And it is usually considered a hidden weapon, especially if your sleeves cover it. And next, most people will know this one. Most people nowadays know how to carry a knife on the necklace. I don't have my regular neck knife, so unfortunately, this is going to be a little bit hinky. It's not going to be as smooth as my usual carry, uh, but you'll get the idea. Okay, neck knife is a great way, but it's definitely concealed weapon. It's definitely concealed weapon. Unless you walk around carrying this outside like this, outside your shirt. If you're comfortable doing that, that's fine too. And with neck knife, especially if it's something like this, a clip-on switchblade, then it's more difficult to access. Usually there are fixed blade that you can just pull down and it'll come out, right? The best way to access a neck knife in a conflict is very time sensitive. If the person is already attacking you and you're trying to fumble with your necklace, it's already too late. They're in your face, right? But if the person is, let's say, on top of you and things are sliding around, they can't really keep track of your hand, and you are trying to hold your, put your hand in front of you like this, then you just toss this out, flip it out, and you got your self-defense tool, right? Like I said, this is not the best example because this is not my usual neck knife. This is a, a utility knife that I got from around the house. But just to get the point across, right? You can also access your neck knife if you walk around with your shirt untucked. You can reach in and get it from underneath, right? That's one way to practice as well. The key is not be too obvious about it. I mean, with the neck knife, unfortunately, it will be visible because it is hanging around your neck like this. So anytime you reach for it, it's going to be visible. But if it's a knife you can just pull out, then it's fine. You know, it's quick enough and it's fine. One thing I want to warn you guys about a neck knife. If you carry, actually, if you carry any kind of a knife, really, is be very aware of physical contact. I'm not even talking about people getting close enough to grab your knife, right? Uh, like I said, people asked me that before. If you carry a knife on your chest, can someone just come in and grab it? Uh, my answer is, well, if I'm sleeping, yes. But if I'm sleeping and I carry that knife in my across my chest, then I'm stupid, right? Now, if I'm alert, if I'm awake, then if someone can just walk up to me and pull out my knife when it's strapped across my chest, then I might as well not be called Johnny Tiger because I suck. Usually, when someone gets that close to me, they are in my very effective range, especially as a blind martial artist. When you're that close to me, that's when I'm at the most effective. Okay, so that's not something I really worry about. Neck knife, same kind of idea. You don't want someone to get close enough to take it from you or choke you with your necklace. Very important when you. I know it's very annoying for the necklace to break all the time, but it's very important for that necklace to break, to be able to break apart if enough force is put on it. So if someone ever try to strangle you with your own necklace and your neck knife, they are not going to be succeed. Back to physical contact. Like I said, it's a little bit flaky, and my thought is a little bit all over the place because there's so much to talk about. When you are carrying knives, especially neck knife, especially belt knife, uh, wrist knife, be very careful with that physical contact. When someone comes in and give you a big hug, or you're messing around with your loved one in bed. Okay, Kitten and I hope she won't uh, mind because this is actually very good teaching material. Kitten and I had a little bit of an accident one time when she and I we were um, hugging each other. Actually, she was hugging me from behind, and I leaned back into her a little bit. Just that motion of our body pressing together released her neck knife, and the knife slid down. So when I leaned into her, it pricked me on the back of the spine. Not very hard, not very bad, but it was sharp enough, and it actually drew blood. So it's the kind of thing that you have to be aware of. When you're carrying a knife, any kind of self-defense tool, taser, pepper spray, be aware of it and always think about it. Okay? It's a responsibility. Oop, give me 1 second to fix my headset. WB button. Button. Selected. Button. Pause image. Button. Sorry about that. When I took off my neck knife lanyard, it brushed against the headset control and turned the headset off. At least I hope that's when it turned the headset off. I hope I didn't just do the first 30 minutes of this video without a headset microphone. That would be horrible. Okay, so continuing. Now that I took away the chest knife, now that I took away the wrist knife, took away the necklace knife, where else am I carrying? I'm kind of interested, and unfortunately, I won't hear you guys answering, but I'm kind of interested to see if you guys have any thought where else am I carrying. Some people with a good, really good observation and eyesight will say, I think you have something on your right bicep. And if you say that, yes, I do. Right? On my right bicep, there's a little switchblade that I can access with my left hand. This comes into our next point. Don't always just carry for the sake of your function, your primary hand. You want to carry so your offhand can get at it as well. Okay, because sometimes you just never know. One arm, both arms might be compromised. You need different ways of getting at your knife in those cases. So uh, when I carry inside my upper arm like this, inside my uh, bicep like this, it's usually for utility purposes. I don't do this for thinking about self-defense. I do this because it's actually really comfortable. Okay? When you strap it around your bicep like this, you want to make sure that it's not a very long knife, so it's not going to be constantly jabbing yourself in the armpit. So something small like this, yeah, that you can quickly access with your offhand like this. Yeah, it's a utility, but it's also very good for self-defense. Now that we got rid of the wrist knife, we got rid of the chest knife, we got rid of the neck knife, we got rid of the bicep knife. What else am I got? I'm looking kind of naked. Oh no, oh, I'm kind of naked. Now, those of you who really know me would know that, yeah, he's probably got something in his pocket, and I do. Left pocket, come out, big, karambit knife, very easy to access. This is another point I want to make to you guys that you guys can think about. When I'm carrying, I tend to carry knives that easy to use, easy to draw, where my left hand can access it. And I carry things that need a little bit of dexterity, like a switchblade, in the pocket that my better hand can access. So in my right pocket, now we have a folding cookery knife. Okay, because if I want to draw this with my left hand, I can. I can. I practice enough with this, but there's a little bit of a clumsiness with my left hand because these knives, this switchblade, most of the time are built for right hand use. Right? So for my left draw, I always do something like this, something like this karambit that I can just hook with my finger and pull right out. I don't need to be very dexterous with my finger. And for my right hand draw, then I can have something like this, a folding knife that I can work with. Now that I got rid of my chest knife, got rid of my neck knife, got rid of my bicep knife, got rid of my wrist knife, and got rid of the big knives in my pocket, am I disarmed? I would imagine most of you can't really see what's if I still have anything on me. At this point, of course I do, because there's still the standard carry straight in front of the belly button, right here, front of the belly button, in the waistband or on the belt, right here. This is a great location. Uh, why do I say that? This is a good location because both hands can get it. And also, with my knife here, it actually serves as a very minimal but still an effective protection if someone try to punch me in the belly or kick me in the belly. Uh, it's right here, a very hard object. So if someone try to sucker punch me, most likely part of their hand will hit it. It's going to mess up their hand before anything happens. Uh, Also, this is a good place to carry because your shirt will usually hide it, and any kind of movement you do will be very minimal, especially if you're rolling around wrestling the person grappling with the person. But the problem with carrying in front of the belly button on the belt like this is if you are really close, if the person got a hold of you or is sitting on top of you, you won't be able to access your knife. Okay, this is why when we go to the ground, we never want to be flat on our back, and we want to be presenting our profile. We want to be on our side if we can. Because this way, I can still access my knife if the person's on top of me, pinning me down, right? So standard in front of the belly button, belt carry, got rid of that. So now we got rid of our chest knife, got rid of the neck knife, got rid of the wrist knife, got rid of the bicep knife, got rid of the pocket, got rid of the belt. Is that it? Of course not. What if, what if you need a place to carry where you can access your knife in the most unobtrusive way? Well, then this is when we do the behind the back, lower back carry. Lower back carry right here, behind my lower back. Again, waistband or on the belt. Okay? Waistband or on the belt. This is a great location too because if I'm forced against a furniture or a wall and my hand automatically go behind to break my fall, I can access my tool immediately. Okay, this is a very unobtrusive, very sneaky way to access your self-defense tool when it's behind the back like this. Again, both hands can get to it. I usually can do it with my right. I can do it with my left. Very simple. Quick note, this one's really obvious, but worth talking about because some people who are new to knives don't know this one. When you carry knives, some people I know when you look at action figures or movies, they'll carry it like this. They'll carry it like this, with a knife outside the shirt, like this. That is okay. If your goal is utility, if you just hang around the house and you want to be able to grab your knife and use it for like cutting paper or whatever, that's okay. But honestly, the proper way to carry a knife is with a knife on the inside and a clip on the outside, like this. So you can't see the actual knife, you just see the clip. And the reason for that is with a knife on the outside, there's a lot of chances of something hooking on your knife and the blade will come out like this. There's a lot of chance of something hooking on your knife and pulling the knife off of you. Okay? So I know it look cool to have everyone see you got a huge knife on your arm like that, but yeah, the proper way is to have the knife concealed on the inside and the clip like that, right? The clip on the outside. So now we got rid of the front belt knife, we got rid of the back belt knife, we got rid of the wrist knife, we got rid of the bicep knife, we got rid of the chest knife, we got rid of the pocket, both left and right pocket, and we got rid of the neck knife. I already mentioned neck knife. Are we done? Not quite. Of course, there's a very standard, everyone knows this one, boot carry, right? Boot carry. A knife in the boot where you can access it either by bending over or lifting your leg up and pulling the knife out. Okay? This was a little bit more awkward because I didn't strap on my standard boot knife and I don't have my boots on. But it gives you that's the idea. You carry it on your ankle. In this case, I have a strap around my ankle like this, and the knife go right in there. Now ankle carry is really, really comfortable. I do that very much. I do that a lot. Um, it's easy to access with one hand, with both hands, depending on how flexible you are. You can access your knife sitting, standing, laying down, as long as you can get at your leg. So flexibility is the key. You can access your ankle knife. So that's a very good way to carry. Uh, it's going to sound like a little bit of overkill, but I highly recommend carrying one on each ankle. Now, some people ask, do we carry it outside the ankle or do we carry it inside the ankle? There's really no right or wrong way. Um, Carrying outside the ankle allow you to just bend and grab like this. Carrying inside the ankle, you can do that too, but you have to kind of flare your leg outward a little bit. However, carrying inside the ankle is a lot easier to grab because all you do is bring your high knee and grab it. Outside the ankle, a little bit more difficult because the angle is a little bit awkward. So practice it a few times and see which way is comfortable for you. Some people will even carry it behind the ankle, like along the calf, like this. And that works too. It's not for me, but if it works for you, it works for you. One thing I want to caution you is when you carry a boot knife or ankle knife, don't carry it hilt down. And don't carry it hilt down because every time you walk, you're jarring that knife, and there's a lot of chance of that coming out of the sheath when you're doing that. Okay? So now we got rid of our ankle knife, we got rid of our pocket knife, we got rid of our belt knife, we got rid of our neck knife, our chest knife, our wrist knife, our bicep knife. What else we got left? I'm like a magician with endless series of knives. Again, I want to draw your attention back to the beginning of the video when I was jumping around and moving a lot. I had all these knives on me and I could move no problem. Okay, so that is the key. Doesn't matter how many you carry, how you carry, what you carry, make sure that it doesn't impede your movement. Where did that come from? This one, some of you might have uh, glimpsed it. This one was sitting right at the back of my collar. Back when I had long hair, this would be perfect because my hair would hide it. Right? This is a really good way for ladies to carry because it's unobtrusive for the most part. Your hair might hide it if you have long hair. Um, and this is something, again, you can access it behind your neck. It's right behind your neck. Access it with one hand or with the other hand. With the other hand, like that. And now I am finally completely without the knife. Um, when I'm wearing a jacket, there's definitely going to be a lot more room for things to carry. And even on this video, I did not carry as many as is possible, of course. That would be a bit redundant, but you can think. A person can have a knife on left wrist, left bicep, right bicep, front of the waist, back of the waist, left pocket, right pocket, both ankles, or even inside both sides. If the person wears shorts, that's an option. Under the shirt, in the neck, behind the collar, on the back. There's just so many ways to carry a knife, to conceal a knife, that this is, again, the message that I want to send is it's really a bad idea to assume that you know Taekwondo, you know Judo, you know MMA, you know Aikido, you know Krav Maga, that you can go and uh, get into fight with people, no problem, because anyone can carry one or a dozen knives on them. And even if they don't know what they're doing, all it takes That's one time when you let your guard down. Right? Now, just for fun, we're going to count out how many knives I had on me. Right? We have one, the kukri, two, the karambit, three, the hawkbill. This was the neck knife. Four and five. This is a chest knife. Six. That was on the bicep. Seven. This was in front of the waistline. Eight and nine. These two were on the wrist. 10. This was behind the lower back. 11. This was in the ankle holster. And 12. This was behind my neck, under my collar. I had 12 knives on me. How many did you think I had in the beginning of this video? Let me know in the comments. We'll be back again later for Mindfulness Monday. For now, if that wasn't strictly educational, I hope it was at least entertaining.